my name is Beth Ross. I'm the Executive Sous Chef at the Grand Okanagan Resort. Today I will be featuring for you an Ambrosia Apple Risotto. We're going to start with half a shallot, and you're going to want to do a nice fine dice on that. This is going to be the base of your risotto. So I've already pre-warmed my pan. We're going to add some cooking oil, probably about 1 to 2 tablespoons. You don't want your pan too hot, otherwise you're going to burn your shallots right off the bat, so just a nice medium temperature is perfect. So I'm just going to let this sweat out for a few minutes. While that's doing that, I'm going to brunoise up, which means small dice of our Ambrosia apple. So I'm going to start with doing some nice thin slices off the apple. Probably about 1/4 of the apple will be really good. Nice thin strips here. A good size reference point would be your baby pinky fingernail. Let's just check on our shallots here. From this point, I'm going to add the apples as well, and we'll let this cook out for a few moments. So after this has sweated for about 1 to 2 minutes, you're going to add your risotto. About 1 cup of rice for the 2-person recipe. Now, it's important to cook out your risotto without any liquid in there. What you want to see is the rice grains start to become translucent around the edge with still a solid white center in the middle before you want to start adding any liquids. This gives a chance the rice to cook out a little bit and start shedding off the starches. That's going to make your risotto nice and creamy. Now we're going to add about 1/4 cup of white wine. Love the sizzle. White wine is a key ingredient in classic risotto, and it just adds a nice level of flavor to your risotto as a finished product. Basically, you're going to let this cook down until there's almost no liquid left in the pan before you start adding the rest of your broth. For this one, I used a sweeter white wine called a Pinot Gris. So as you can see, the liquid is pretty much all gone. So what we're going to do now is start adding our broth. Now for this Ambrosia Apple Risotto, I prepared an apple juice that's been steeped with Earl Grey tea. Basically, you're just going to add it a ladle at a time. Not too much all at once, otherwise you're going to overload it and you potentially will overcook it, and then it won't be quite the nice texture that you're looking for. Because it is a tea and apple juice based broth, it will add a bit of a brown tinge to your risotto, but don't worry about that, it's still going to taste great. At this point, we will just let this cook down till the liquid is pretty much almost gone again, like we did with the white wine. Test it with a spoon to make sure you're at the correct doneness. If it still needs a little bit longer, you're going to add a little bit more liquid and then repeat the process. Using an Ambrosia apple with this risotto will add a bit of tanginess to it. It pairs really well with the sweeter wines, and it holds up quite nicely when you cook it, as it is a firmer apple texture. For a portion of risotto this size that you'll be cooking for 2 people, it'll take probably a good maybe 15 minutes from start to finish with the cooking part in the pan, not including your prep time for chopping your shallots and whatnot, but just the cooking part, probably about 15 minutes. As you can see, the granules are still individual. Most of your liquid has been absorbed, and you just want to make sure that it's not crunchy anymore. Yep, we're there. And now we're just going to finish off the risotto with a little bit of shredded Parmesan cheese. You don't want to go too heavy on the cheese because it will become more cheesy than apple, and you really want to keep the integrity of the apple flavor that you have already going here. At this point too, you're going to want to retest it for your seasoning. Parmesan does have a bit of a salty flavor to it, so you don't want to go ahead and add a ton of salt before you taste it, just so you know how much you're at. I'm going to finish it with some chopped chives, just for a nice added color to the dish there. This is looking so good and smelling so delicious. Let me show you how I'm going to plate it if I was serving it tonight. I'm going to start with a little bit of the risotto down in the bottom. I've gone ahead and seared a couple scallops, just seasoned lightly with some salt. I'm going to place those on top. We're going to finish this with some julienned Ambrosia apple, a little bit of chive for color. And wait, one more component here. A little bit of that leftover broth we used in the risotto, just to finish it off just right around. And there you go. Look at that, Ambrosia Apple Risotto, some seared scallops. Hope you enjoyed this recipe, and if you did, please give it a vote.